Flower? So we're at the hospital now. We got our Nemo a balloon and a card. Austin's just finishing up drawing right now. His last little touches. Let's go bring it to Mama. Hey, you ditched the balloon. Sorry, he wanted to give you the lamp too. I don't know why.
Hey guys, welcome to Purnima channel. As some of you know and some of you might not know, I lost my baby at 11 weeks. It's been really hard, but I'm okay. You know, it's something that you'll obviously never ever be over it, but you know, I do think about it every minute and second of my day, but I do have to also you know, get myself together and move on, sort of like just, you know, be strong for the kids, and can't be just, you know, drop everything and just be depressed. I am trying my best. I do cry a lot, but you know, that's my way of healing. It's been the hardest thing in the whole world, but I'm getting through it. My husband is here to support me, and my children are here. I just wanted to make this video of telling you guys that not only I had miscarriage, I was also in the hospital for 2 days. So what happened was that I called up my doctor on Monday and I told him that, you know, I was still bleeding, I need to see him, and then I went there, made an appointment, I went there, and they told me that you know, baby didn't have a heartbeat. It was really hard, and of course I was just crying and bawling, and he gave me some options. He's like, either you can have the baby you know, come out naturally, or I can prescribe you some pills, and that will happen within like a couple of hours. So I was thinking, since, you know, I think it would have been really hard for me to go through 3 or 4 weeks just knowing that the baby is, you know, has passed on, and I still have him or her in my stomach, that I don't know how I would have lived having it be inside me and knowing that it's not there anymore. So I went home and I talked to my husband and told him about this medicine. The doctor told me about it, and we thought about it really hard, and we decided that, you know, it's best to, you know, have the doctor prescribe me that pill and just, you know, have the baby come out a couple hours. So I you know, I called up and I had him prescribe. So I took the pill in the afternoon, and I waited for a couple hours, and I didn't stop like bleeding until 7:40. So I started bleeding at 7:40, and I thought I was having miscarriage. I had no idea what was, like, I knew that there was supposed to be a lot of blood come out. So I know, I'm sorry if you do not like blood or like anything gross. Please obviously don't watch this, because that's all I'm really gonna talk about. So anyways, yeah, and I just start bleeding and bleeding, and it wasn't just like water bleeding, it was just like clots, like big clot, and I thought that was like the baby, you know. I'm like, I was, you know, so sad, and like I didn't know, should I flush the toilet or should I know it sounds gross, but I didn't know if I should like take the baby out of the toilet and like bury the baby. I was just like, it was just so hard. It's like the hardest thing ever. Like, it was just, I was just did not know what to do. Like, flushing the toilet was like, I was just crying and crying, and I just like, I don't know, I just didn't know what to do. But you know, eventually I flushed it, and you know, I said some stuff, so not really. Anyways, I just said some stuff, basically speaking to the toilet, really, you know, how much I'm gonna miss the baby, and I'm really sorry I never got chance to know the baby. I mean, the short term that the baby was in my belly, you know, we had our memories with the kids, and like, yeah, Austin was kissing my stomach a lot, you know, because I would tell him this is the baby, and he would kiss it. So we had some memories of the baby, like in that way. And so I was just like basically talking to the toilet. At that time, it was just really emotional time for me, and eventually I flushed the toilet. And so yeah, but you know, I was bleeding so much, and that went on for like 7 hours or so. Like, it was about, like, I called the doctor after 4 hours. I called the hospital, like, saying that, you know, I feel dizzy, I feel nauseous, what should I do? And then the doctor said that, you know, well, and I told him, like, when am I supposed to stop bleeding? And like, big clot was coming out of me. Like, when does that stop? And the doctor said, like, it depends on the person, you know, there's no specific time that I will stop. And I'm like, oh no, so what should I do? And then they said, well, you know, just keep drinking and keep eating, and like, you know, just don't get dehydrated, and just take care of yourself. And if your body says that you're not okay, then, you know, call 911 and go to the hospital. So I was like, well, okay, well, it doesn't sound so bad. If it happens to everybody and depends on the person, I'll just wait and see what happens. And so I waited. So after a couple hours, so I got up to go to the bathroom. What was happening was, like, because I'm only 80 pounds, and I lost so much blood that I just, you know, I was getting lightheaded. And I got up, went to the bathroom, and I was coming out, and I just fainted. I think I told Chris that I'm dizzy, and I like fell, and I had no idea what happened. And Chris like woke me up and told me that, like, I was, you know, I fainted. So I got scared, and I woke up. I went into the room where Austin sleeps, and I woke him up because we were gonna rush to the hospital. And of course I tried to drink a lot at that point, but we didn't call the hospital. I wanted to sit down, so I sat down, and I felt better. So I'm like, oh, maybe I just need to drink a lot more and I'll be okay. And then I sat down, and I drank, and I was sitting down for a while, and I was fine. And then every time I would get up, I would faint, or like, I didn't know that was the reason, because I was getting up. So I got up, and then I went to the bathroom again, and that happened again, and I kept fainting. So poor Chris, my husband, who is the sweetest man ever. I'm like so thankful that he's in my life. I love him, and so happy that he really like was in this hard situation, because I was fainting, and I woke, like, we had a toddler, and it's like, you know, we don't really have family that would like watch the baby. And so you know, he tries to carry both of us. Like, I went he didn't want to leave me alone, and he was trying to carry both of us. I was like walking with him, and I like fainted outside. You know, I just remember waking up outside and like thinking like, oh my god, what the heck is going on? And I was so scared. I was crying. That has never happened to me before. So I went to the hospital, and they told me that I have lost lots of blood. And I know he could have called the ambulance, but we're like only 2 minutes away from the hospital. Obviously, you know, he would have called the hospital if he knew that, if he couldn't do it or anything. At one point he told me that it did cross his mind calling 911, but you know, once I'm sitting down, I'm okay. We went to the hospital and I was fine there, but you know, because I was sitting down, and they took me in right away, and I got like IV water, and then you know, at one point one of the doctors like, oh, they gave me IV water, and they're like, after 2 hours later, they're like, oh, you'll be fine. Once you have the IV, you can go home. And then I told him, I'm like, you know, because he told me that there's still blood inside me and eventually it'll come out. So I told him, like, you know, there's something called CD, that like suction cup that like takes all your blood out of your uterus, because that's where the blood was. Hasn't all come out. And then like I told him, like, you know, I would like to think of different way of taking the blood out instead of just going home, because I don't know what's gonna happen and all that stuff. And then they decided that, yeah, you're anemic, and we're gonna give you some blood. And then gave me blood. They gave me 2 packages of blood, and we will have a doctor, my OBGYN doctor, come and look at me. It was really weird that they didn't do that before I even said anything about the suction of taking the blood out of my uterus. They were trying to rush me, get out of there. But so anyways, the OBGYN doctor came. That's the doctor that I saw when he told me that I didn't have a heartbeat. He's really sweet. He was really nice. He told me that, yes, you know, there's lots of cloth of blood instead of like just regular blood coming out. There's just lots of them. And you know, instead of doing the CD, the suction cup, he was gonna just take it out himself, and he can do it, and he'd rather not do the other thing if, you know, if he didn't know that he can't take him out. So he did that. It hurt a lot. Like, I don't know, they had like some clamps and stuff inside me, and tried to take it out, and it was just like, I try not to look. I just was like, whatever you're doing, it's, you know, I'd rather not look and just get this blood out of me. So he did. Everything went good. The baby was stuck in my uterus, so all that cloth and stuff, and at home that everything came out was not the baby, it was just the cloth, and then the blood was just coming out. I guess that's more of the reason I kept bleeding and bleeding, because my body wanted to flush it out, but the baby was still up there. So anyways, the doctor took the fetus out, and I don't know what they did with it. And then he said, you can go in, and like hour after, we'll give you a blood transfusion, like 1, and you can go. And then a couple hours later, because it took forever for the blood to go in, because they were very slowly. A couple hours later, nurses come in, and then they're like, yeah, we're gonna transfer you to another room, and you know, that's where you're gonna be. And I'm like, oh, so I'm going home from there, from upstairs? And they're like, oh no, you're staying here for another night. I was in tears, because I was not expecting to stay there. I've never left Austin, my 2-year-old, never left him. by him, like without me ever. So like being with him, being without him for one night was hard enough. And then all I could think of is like missing him, and like how I don't know, it was just really hard to know that I was gonna be there for another night. Am I gonna be okay? Like, because they were gonna give me another blood. I was just like, I don't know, I was just thinking like my Indian mom died from blood loss. I was just, all these things were flashing. Oh, it's just like there were so many things coming in my head, like, am I gonna die? Like, am I gonna be so weak to take care of Austin? Like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna have to bring Aiden to school soon, which means I have to carry Austin. How that's gonna work? It's just like me and my husband, really. I don't know. I was just, things were just flying in my head, thinking, and I was just crying. I felt so alone. First time ever. I've been through so much in my lifetime, but you know, two were the things that really scared me, because one was when Austin had a seizure like last year, and this, you know, mainly thinking about like not be able to, you know, what if something happened to me? I'll never see Austin again, never see Chris again, I'll never see him get old, never, you know, he's just so little, like, I don't know, it's just, it was just really tough. But I don't know, like every time, like the doctor said that every time I would get out, my heartbeat would go low, and like I wasn't able to stand, I wasn't able to sit. It was just laying there. I felt like I was just like, all these needles and things are poking me, and I just can't go to the bathroom, can't just, well, I was going to the bathroom, and that's all it was coming out of me was just blood and blood and blood and clot, and I don't know. It was just really, really crazy experience I had. It kind of scares me to, right now it scares me to like think about trying again for a baby, because we, you know, especially we were trying to have a baby, and you know, most people have miscarriage and that's it. And I mean, still really, really sad, but I had to go through another thing. I mean, maybe that kept my mind off of miscarriage, because I was in like with medicine and all that stuff, thinking about Austin and thinking about what's gonna happen. It wasn't really, you know, now as the day goes on, I do think more and more about the baby, and you know, how, I don't know, you know, when he was, or she was, what, anyways. But so yeah, that was the story. You know, Chris and Austin did come, but not for a long time, come and visit me, because Austin is a toddler and he's just cries and runs around and touches everything. So, you know, but I did feel better. They came with a balloon, and so Austin got me this lamp that was so cute, and get well balloon and cards, and that made me so much, like after seeing him I felt a little better. I'm glad they came and visited and made my day. But yeah, so yeah, that was just, I felt like it was a nightmare. I don't know if it would have been better if I wouldn't have taken those pills, then naturally after a couple weeks, I don't know if that would have still happened. Yeah, so anyway, so that was my experience of the whole miscarriage and this medicine that I took. It really was just a nightmare, a nightmare, a nightmare, a nightmare. So I'm okay. Everything is becoming normal. I'm really weak still, but I'm taking care of myself. My husband is taking care of me. So we are living our day by day. um, you know, obviously I'll never forget this moment or the baby, or you know, I'm always thinking about the baby every second of my day, if you know. So anyways, that was my experience, and I just wanted to let you guys know, if you guys ever had this experience, or if you took in the medicine, or you know, warn you if you are going to take the medicine, if you are very skinny like me, be careful. You know, make sure you talk to your family members, talk to the doctor before you do it. I didn't have anybody. I just, you know, was doing what me and husband were thinking was the best, and but you know, who would have known? Maybe it was the best thing, and because I, you know, if I didn't have taken it, and who knows, if naturally could have happened, and I was at a you know, by myself, or at a store or something, that could have happened. Who knows? But I am living day by day. It's the experience. Either God wanted me to have it, or I don't know, but this is my story. Thanks very much for watching my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye!